Alright, this is lesson 10.6, cones and pyramids. We are going to find the volume of a cone and find the volume of a pyramid. Now, first thing is definition of a cone. A three-dimensional figure with a blank as the base and one vertex not coplanar with a base. So what this is saying is you have a three-dimensional figure with what shape as its base? And hopefully you said circle. Now our formula for volume is volume equals 1/3 capital B times H. And remember our capital B stands for area of base. And in this situation, our base is a circle. Okay, pyramid is a polygon in which the base is a polygon and the other lateral faces are triangles with one common vertex. Name by its base. Now, notice that we have the same formula, and this is again area of base. Now, be careful with the H, because when we are doing surface area of cones and pyramids, we use the slant height. So we use this outside edge of both of our shapes. Now we're using actual height, so we're having the height that's perpendicular to the base. So the height goes up the center in both of these shapes instead of down across the side. Okay, first example, it says find the volume of the following figure. We know that our formula is volume equals 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. So the area of my base, we have a cone, and so that means the base is a circle. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. And my radius, hopefully you knew, was 16. So I have pi times 16 squared. 16 squared is equal to 256. And then we have pi. So now I have my area of my base, so I can plug it into my formula. So I have volume is equal to 1/3 area of my base, which is 256 pi, times my height. And remember, our height goes from the center of the circle up to the vertex, which would make it 30. Now, I can do this without a calculator if I say, okay, what's 1/3 of 30? And hopefully you say is 10. So we have 10 times 256 pi, and 10 times 256 is 2,560 pi, and our label is meters cubed, just like in section 10.5. Okay, next example. Again, same directions, find the volume of the figure. Now we have a cone. Now the only thing that we need to notice is we don't have a height right now. We have a slant height, but we don't have an actual height. So if I divide 6 in half, then I know that this side here is 3, and then I can use Pythagorean theorem to figure out what my height is, which is also what you did in bell work. So I'm going to have 3 squared plus b squared, because this is going to be my b, equals 7 squared. So I have 9 plus b squared is equal to 49. Subtract 9 from both sides. So I have b squared is equal to 40. Then I square root. And then we can break this down. So this can go to 4 and 10. This can go to 2 and 2. And this one can go to 5 and 2. Remember, we have our pairs. So we have b equals, our pairs come out front. So we have 2 square root of 5 times 2, because our leftovers stay on the inside. So we have b equals 2 radical 10. Okay, so now the volume formula, again, is 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. So the area of my base is, again, pi r squared, because our base is a circle. So I have pi times my radius, which we found was 3. So the area of my base is 9 pi. So now I can do the rest of my formula. So I have volume equals 1/3 area of my base, which was 9 pi, times my height, which is 2 radical 10. So I have 1/3 of 9, which is 3. So I have 3 pi times 2 radical 10. And 3 times 2 is 6. So I have 6 pi radical 10 inches cubed as my answer. Now you can put this as a decimal if you want to, but I prefer to do less work and leave it as is. Okay, next one. Now we have a cone that is slanted. Now, we could not find the surface area of this because we have more than one slant height. Remember, when we were finding the surface area, we had to find the slant height, and if I have more than one, then I can't do that. So, but we can find the volume. So we're going to do the volume the exact same way that we did the other ones. We have volume equals 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. So, area of base is pi r squared. My radius is 6 because my radius goes from here to the outside of my circle. So I have pi times 6 squared. So I have 36 pi as the area of my base. Now I can put it in my formula. Volume equals 1/3 area of my base, which is 36 pi, times my height, which is 10. 1/3 of 36, so 36 divided by 3 is 12 pi times 10. So we end up with 120 pi meters cubed as our answer. Okay, almost done. Now we just have to do pyramids. So it says find the volume and round to the nearest tenth. Remember that our volume formula for our pyramid is the same as for the cone. So I have volume equals 1/3 times the area of the base times the height. Now the only difference with this one is that we have our base, which is now a square. So we're going to do the same thing, except we have our base equals base times height, because we have our base times height of our base, so 11 times 11, which is 121. Now I can go about my business doing the volume, so I have volume equals 1/3 times 121 times my height, which is 12. Now, 12 divided by 3 is 4, so I have 4 times 121, which is 484, and we have centimeters cubed. So hopefully you understand this. Now, our final example. So, we have find the volume. Now, remember we are given the slant height here. This distance is going from the vertex to the outside edge. So, I'm going to make a right triangle like this. And if this whole length is 5, then this length is going to be 2.5. And now I can use Pythagorean theorem to figure out what my height is. So this is going to be my b. So I'm going to have 2.5 squared plus b squared is equal to 7 squared. 2.5 squared is 6.25 plus b squared equals 49. Then I'm going to subtract 6.25 from both sides. So I have b squared is equal to 42.75. Now I need to square root both sides. And if I type in the square root of 42.75 in my calculator, I get approximately 6.5. So b is equal to 6.5, so that's my height. All right, now I can go and do the same thing. So I have volume equals 1/3 times the area of my base times height. The area of my base is equal to 5 times 5 again, because I have a square base, and this length is 5 times this length, which is also 5. So I have the area of my base is equal to 25. So then I have volume is equal to 1/3 times area of my base, which is 25, times my height, which is 6.5. And if I type all of this into my calculator at once, or let's do it in pieces, 25 times 6.5 is equal to 162.5. And then I'm going to divide that by 3. So my answer is going to be 54.16 repeating, and I have feet cubed. All right, there's your homework. Have a good day.